On the 15th anniversary of Apollo 11, NASA presents The Space Story. May 25th, 1961.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
8 years later, on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 was hurled into space from NASA's Kennedy Space Center, carrying a crew of 3, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. The great voyage to the moon was underway.
Roger, 11, we'll pass that on, and it certainly looks like you're well on your way now.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
On July 20th, people from around the world watched as Apollo 11 Commander Neil Armstrong took that historic first step onto the lunar surface.
One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
Michael Collins was the command module pilot on Apollo 11.
One effect, I think, of the first lunar landing was to bring people of all nations closer together. After the flight of Apollo 11, we 3 crew members took a very quick trip around the world. We visited some 22 countries in slightly over a month's time. And we noticed that everywhere we went, no matter what the country, no matter what its politics, the people there seemed to identify very closely with us and with the Apollo program. They felt part of humankind's first step out onto the surface of another planet. And I think that a flight of Apollo 11 did make the world a little bit smaller and a little bit friendlier and did give it a feeling of unity that had not existed before.
The late Dr. Werner von Braun, then director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center.
We knew vaguely that it could be done. When you consider that a typical Saturn Apollo flight to the moon includes approximately 6 million parts, each of one must work. And the failure of each of one can cause disaster. And you are working in a new field of technology. Everything is unprecedented. And yet you are working under a limited budget against a hard time schedule.
All is quiet on the moon right now, but the legacy of Apollo is with us forever. Historian Dr. Arthur M. Schlesinger summed it up this way.
If historians 500 years from now looking back remember the 20th century, it will be because the 20th century was where man first began to break his terrestrial bonds and begin the exploration of space. And the generation which is coming of age in the 60s will be the generation which began as the last earthbound generation and saw in their own lifetime the shift from man as a creature of a single planet to man beginning an exploration of space.
On the 15th anniversary of Apollo 11, NASA has presented The Space Story.
NASA Special Report number 236. 14 minutes 30 seconds coming in 3, 2, 1.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11. Now 5 minutes, 52 seconds.
The date,
and counting.
July 1969. The scene, NASA's Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It was July 16th. The morning was hot and clear. Poised on the launch pad, 36 stories of rocket and spacecraft, the most powerful machine ever devised by man, about to begin the first leg of a 500,000-mile round trip to the surface of the moon.
Launch Director Rocco Petrone now gives a go for 5 minutes, 20 seconds.
High on top of the Apollo 11 stack, inside the 12 by 12-foot cone-shaped command module, 3 modern-day explorers, Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin, were completing final preparations and checkout for launch. Their mission had evolved from the drawing boards to reality in slightly more than 8 years' time. The assignment was clear: land on the moon and return safely to Earth. NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, presents a special 15th anniversary report. The flight of Apollo 11, Eagle and Columbia revisited.
Begins to build up. We're now hitting the 4-minute mark. 4 minutes and counting. We are go for Apollo 11. We'll go on.
On that significant day in July, as the world watched and waited for the now familiar sights and sounds of ignition and liftoff, it was not difficult to find one's mind wandering back to similar days of major milestones in man's brief space history. Events which charted the course for Apollo 11 and beyond. It was May 5th, 1961, when this country took its first tentative step into space for man. Astronaut Alan Shepard was at the controls.
2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
All right, liftoff, and the clock has started. Yes, sir, reading you loud and clear. This is Freedom 7. The fuel is go.
The clock had started for man in space. Later in that same month, May 25th to be exact, a national goal was set forth.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
In succeeding years, this goal was to be reinforced by a second president.
Fourth, we must assure our preeminence in the peaceful exploration of outer space, focusing on an expedition to the moon in this decade.
And broadened by a third.
As we explore the reaches of space, let us go to the new worlds together. Not as new worlds to be conquered, but as a new adventure to be shared.
From this time. All still go at this time. Neil Armstrong reported back when he received the...
In all, a total of 20 manned flights preceded this first moon landing attempt, each adding in a step-by-step manner the knowledge and experience required for actual lunar missions. Pioneering the Mercury era, Gus Grissom followed in astronaut Shepard's suborbital path. Soon would come Earth orbit.
Godspeed, John Glenn.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're...
Carpenter, Girard, and Gordon Cooper followed John Glenn into orbit, with Cooper closing out Project Mercury with a new space duration record, 34 hours and 20 minutes inside his Faith 7 capsule. It was now known for a fact that man could indeed survive and operate effectively in the hostile environment of space. Meanwhile, the newest manned flight program was Gemini.
Roll's completed. Roger, roll complete. There goes the pitch. All right, Roger, pitch. You're on your way, Molly Brown. Yeah, ma'am.
Gemini was the bridge between Mercury and Apollo. It was in Gemini that man would work in space and maneuver his craft to rendezvous with another.
Gemini 7 and 6, would you continue with the description of your station keeping?
Right now, 6 is about 10 feet above and to the left of 7. We're just flying nose to nose, approximately 15 feet apart.
And later, dock.
Okay, Gemini 8, it looks good here from the ground. We're showing cone rigid. Everything looks good from the docking. Okay, we're going to cycle our stop arm switch now. Roger. We flight, we are down. And he's really a smoothie. Oh, Roger. Hey, congratulations. This is real good.
It was in Gemini that man walked in space.
Let me take a closer picture. You smeared up my windshield, you dirty dog. Yeah. You see how it's all smeared up there? Yeah. It looks like there's a coating.
Gemini astronauts remained aloft as long as 14 days in their small craft. And it was in Gemini that pilots helped steer their vehicle through re-entry. As the 10th and final Gemini mission successfully splashed down in the Atlantic, the three-man Apollo program rolled into high gear, only to be halted by the accident on Launch Pad 34. This tragedy, which claimed the lives of astronauts Grissom, White, and Chaffee, resulted in a renewed dedication on the part of the country's manned space team and a painstaking redesign of the Apollo command module, as well as safety procedures on the launch pad itself. In October 1968, the spacecraft was ready for its manned shakedown flight.
Apollo 7, Houston. Ready to copy. Roger. You're looking real good, Wally, coming right down the line. On ring A, and she's really nice control system.
Next would come an ambitious stride forward, a voyage to moon orbit for the astronauts of Apollo 8.
And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good Earth.
Apollo 9 followed. It was an Earth orbital full-dress rehearsal for all components of the Apollo spacecraft, including the four-legged lunar module.
Spider, this is Houston. Could you give us high bit rate, please?
Roger, Houston. Spider high bit rate. How do you read it, Houston?
I read you 5 square and gumdrop. I'm copying you 5. Bye-bye.
Then a second full-dress rehearsal, this time in orbit around the moon itself, where Apollo 10 crew members, inside their four-legged Snoopy, descended to within 10 miles of the lunar surface.
Oh, Houston, this is Snoopy.
Right, Snoop, go ahead.
Get going. We is down among them, Charlie.
Roger, I hear you weaving your way up the freeway. Can you give me a post-burn report, over?
Yeah, as soon as I get my breath.
Transfer is complete. We're on internal power with the launch vehicle at this time. 40 seconds away from the Apollo.
With the stage thus set by Mercury, Gemini, and preceding Apollo missions, it was now time to put all the experience, all the hardware, all of the know-how, put it all together and make it work for Apollo 11. From Launch Pad 39A at the John F. Kennedy Space Center, astronauts Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin were about to make their giant leap toward fulfilling our national goal. This is how it happened.
9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Roger, we got a roll from
Tower cleared.
Roger, roll. Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are confirmed to go for orbit. Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are go for TLI, over. Apollo 11, thank you. Roger out. Apollo 11, this is Houston. All your systems are looking good going around the corner. We'll see you on the other side, over. Roger. Everything looks okay up here. Roger out.
And we've had loss of signal as Apollo 11 goes behind the moon. Madrid, AOS.
Hey, loud clear, Houston. Now what? It was like perfect. Mike 55, Mike, how did he go, over? Listen, babe, everything's going just swimmingly. Beautiful. Great. We're standing by for Eagle. Sid Eagle, how do you read? Bye-bye, Eagle. We're standing by for your burn report, over. Roger, the burn was on time. Eagle, Houston, we read you now. You're a go for PDI, over. Roger, understand. We're go. Same type. We're go. Eagle looking great. You're go. Down 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. 20. Down a half. 30 seconds forward. Just back light. Okay, engine stop. ACA at a descent. Mode control both auto. Descent engine command override off. Engine arm off. 413 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind. Beautiful view. Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here. Magnificent desolation.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. Tranquility Base, Houston.
Roger, go ahead.
Roger, our guidance recommendation is pings, and you're cleared for takeoff.
Roger, understand. We're number 1 on the runway. Yeah, beautiful. 26, 36 feet per second up. Very smooth. Hello, Apollo 11, Houston. How did it go, over? Open up the LRL doors, Charlie. Roger, we got you coming home.
Neil, Buzz, and Mike, I want you to know that I think I'm the luckiest man in the world. And I say this not only because I have the honor to be President of the United States, but particularly because I have the privilege of speaking for so many and welcoming you back to Earth.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind. Dear men from the planet Earth, first set foot upon the moon, July 1969, AD. We came in peace for all mankind. It has the crew members' signatures and the signature of the President of the United States.
NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, has presented a special 15th anniversary report. The flight of Apollo 11, Eagle and Columbia revisited.
Space Story, number 1074, 4 minutes 30 seconds, coming in 3, 2, 1.
On the 15th anniversary of Apollo 11, NASA presents The Space Story. May 25th, 1961.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely.